All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to do lesson 4.3. Make sure you're hydrated. Got my water with fruit punch flavor. So we're still doing one-step inequalities, but this time we're going to be using multiplication and division. So we're going to be doing inverse operations. Now, this one's a little bit trickier because of our negative signs. And if you remember, I've been trying to warn you guys about your negative signs since chapter 1. So let's see if we can be awesome together. Multiplication and division properties of inequalities. So if you multiply or divide the same positive number. Okay, so just basic division or multiplication with a positive number. Nothing really important's going on there. We just solve it like we've done before, and then a quick graph. So let's try that. Oh, silly. All right, so we're going to take our problem, write it, or you can just write it a little bit bigger. So let's see here. This means division, so that means I need to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So if I'd like to, let me get my pen ready. I could put a little 1 in front. And if I multiply both sides by 5 over 1, technically I don't need those ones, but it's always nice to keep practicing it as you would any problem. I would get x is less than or equal to negative 15. So I'm done solving it. I have my x solution set, so I make my quick graph. Remember, negative 15 goes in the center. Got a number on the left, number on the right. If you're counting backwards, negative 14, negative 15, negative 16. We say closed up because it does have the equal part. Just fill it in, make it bigger than you would normally make. And according to our trick or the words, going to the left. Again, the variable always needs to be on the left side when we're solving it so that we can use that trick. Just makes it a little bit easier for our understanding as well. Excellent. This one's almost the same. So let's see. Yeah, let's change it to 5 over 4. Just a little bit different. All right, so that means I need to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So that would be 4 over 5, both sides, which would give me 4 over 1 times 4 over 5. Nothing I can cross cancel. So that means m is greater than 16 over 5. Or, again, remember, we don't want to graph an improper fraction. We want a mixed number. So we know that 5 goes into 16 3 whole times and a fraction piece. 5 times 3 is 15, but I got 16, so I need one little piece there. So when we go to the graph, remember, it's going to be between 3 and 4. And based off of our fraction understanding, it should be an open dot closer to the 3. Not in the middle, not closer to 4, closer to 3. Shading is going to go to the right. So it means everything greater than 3 and 1/5 would be the solution set. It does not include, though, 3 and 1/5 because, again, it's a open, not an equal to. Beautiful, beautiful. Ooh, if you notice on this one, the variable is not on the left side. So it means when I write it, I want to go ahead and switch it around. So the 2/3 p is no longer on the right. It's now going to be on the left. So that means the negative 3 has to move to the right side. And if you remember, like our previous discussion on the other lesson, this inequality really likes the negative 3. So that means it is open towards the negative 3 still. There we go. Very nice. Hey, very similar to our previous problem, right? Let's go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. So if I multiply by 3 over 2, or I can put a little 1 here if that's helpful. That's going to give me p is less than, and I can't cross cancel again, so it's negative 9 over 2 or negative 4.5. Now we really like the half idea because, again, we can easily identify where that's going to be on our number line. So that means I have a negative 4, and if I count backwards, that would be negative 5, negative 3, negative 2, maybe even an extra one if you want. You don't have to put that many, though. So negative 4.5. So which side is that of the negative 4? Well, if you count backwards again, you get to negative 4, and then you get to negative 4.5, which is in the middle here. According to the trick and the words, going to the left. Pretty much you're going to get that enough experience with the graphing where you don't even have to think about it. You just automatically know which way the graph is going to go. But again, the variable has to be on the left, which is why we changed our original problem to be the variable on the left. When I did that, it still wants the negative 3, the inequality sign open to the negative 3. All right, here we go. Here's the important part, because this is where students constantly make mistakes. The previous problems are very closely related to what we did in chapter 3. The difference between solving inequalities and solving equations is as follows. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, do you see this negative number in front of the x? You must reverse the inequality symbol. Now, a lot of students, for whatever reason, either forget to reverse it or they reverse it in some weird spot. So let's try a few with those negative coefficients. So if you notice, negative 18n, so the coefficient of n is negative 18, so the variable part is negative, so that tells me I'm going to have to do a little bit of extra thinking. All right, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 18, and if I divide by a negative, I must reverse my inequality sign. So I'm not focused on the negative sign with the 45, I'm focused on the negative sign with the 18, because that's the one connected to the variable. So I'm going to say n. Look what happens here. This inequality sign less than now becomes greater than. I even did a different color if you'd like to do that, or you can highlight it or put a little comment, be careful. And a negative divided by negative is a positive. 45 and 18 can both be divided by 9, which gives me 5 over 2, or 2.5. So, quick number line. 2.5 is definitely going to be in between 2 and 3. Open dot to the right. So the graphing part's the same. The only thing you have to be careful again is if you multiply or divide by a negative, you must reverse the inequality sign. So let's say be careful right here. Because a lot of times students, they're not careful with those inequality signs and they leave it as a less than, which means the arrow on the graph would be going to the left instead of the right. And we got to be making sure we're careful. All right, this one here, ooh, do you notice the coefficient of x, meaning the numbers in front of x, are negative? So when I write it, I'm going to put a little 1 there. So negative 1/3 is greater than or equal to 4. So when I multiply by the reciprocal, both sides, it's going to be negative 3 over 1. Negative 3 over 1. So cross cancel everything on the left. So that means I have x is less than or equal to. So again, it has to reverse the inequality sign. So it's kind of like it's running forward and now it's going to run backwards. Or it's running to the left, now it's going to run to the right. It's changing directions. It's reversing. 4 multiplied by negative 3 is negative 12. So that nice basic number there. So when we graph it again, negative 12 is the important number. Counting backwards, negative 11, negative 12, negative 13. Close dot, make it bigger than normal. Words or trick, going to the left for the graph. Again, quick shading. You can use your highlighter, jelly pens, whatever you like. All right, beautiful. Ooh, this is a good one here. It's going to be testing your fraction skills, division skills. But again, notice how the variable, the coefficient of b is negative. So whenever I multiply or divide by a negative, I must reverse the inequality sign. So I'm dividing by negative 4. I'm not focused on the negative sign on the 2. It's this number here. So that gives me b is greater than, because again, got to reverse that. Negative divided by negative is positive, but what about 2 over 4? 1/2. 2 cookies for 4 people means each person gets half a cookie. So b is greater than 1/2. Quick graph, 1/2 is in between 0 and 1. Open dot, add a half. Arrow to the right. You know what? I think we're going to get so good at graphing that we might be able to practice less and less of the graphing, which might speed things up a little bit for some of you. But not yet. Make sure you got your notes nice and neat. So again, divided by a negative, reverse the inequality sign. Multiply by a negative, reverse the inequality sign. It's not just because you see a negative. And we'll practice some more problems together on the homework, and it will be awesome together. All right. Be awesome.